Εξομολογήστε το Κύριο διαγρατός, αλληλούια, ότι στον αιώνα το έλεος αυτού, αλληλούια.
I'm guessing it's like some... Hello there, I'm just looking... Is that your sign?
Yeah.
What does Dahari mean? What is it?
Wahari, it's a way of understanding Islamic law.
So outside the full madhab. Is it still considered within Sunni Islam?
Basically, the principles we follow is we take the book of Allah, we take the Sunnah of the Messenger.
Alright.
Hey.
It's your competition, man.
It's not my competition.
He was chatting shit about you earlier. I'm joking.
Okay, so would you reject Ishtihad?
I'm learning from him.
So my understanding
I'm
is
learning
Oh,
from
you're
him.
learning from him. Well, he's the main man. He's the star.
He's got more experience. More
He's
experience.
the cameraman shit.
Well, it's not exactly like that, but I don't think that you can go to a scholar. The scholar has to provide a proof from the book of the Sunnah. If not, we reject that.
Okay. Okay. All right then. So you accept consensus though, ijma.
Yeah,
So the ijma of the Sahaba, just the Sahaba.
Yeah.
And tabi'il or tabi'un as well. Those guys as well, the next generations.
No, I don't accept the consensus because I don't believe it's possible to actually provide consensus. Consensus is the saying of each and every single one. If one disagrees, I don't consider that consensus.
Oh.
So for the tabi'un,
Yeah.
they spread too much on the land.
Right.
So I don't believe it's possible to say, oh, they agreed on something.
But that makes sense. That makes sense because when I was looking into this sort of stuff, I saw that the Sahaba, if you include the three generations, that actually covers a lot of time, right? Like a long period. So there are some though that seem to date from that period who went astray. So there are some who, I don't know, Qadariya and Jama, and all these different things. So as a Muslim, is it fair to say that you don't accept everything the Sahaba say, only the consensus of the Sahaba, or the consensus of the first generation?
The consensus of Sahaba. Sahaba is those that.
Sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Being Muslims and died being Muslims. This is what's considered Sahaba. Met the Prophet while being Muslim and died as Muslim.
Oh, okay.
The people that met them, like Hassan al-Basri and so on, they are not Sahaba. And their consensus, I don't believe it's proof. If the Sahaba differ on something, to claim that they arrived to a consensus that oppose that, I don't believe it's possible.
So with the
too much.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. I think that's a fair way of doing things. I guess my issue with ijma, like consensus in general, is that I don't think there ever was, even amongst very close, very highly thought of companions, like Ubay ibn Ka'b or Abdullah ibn Masud, there was never consensus over quite important things. So for example, when Uthman did his recension of the Quran in roughly around 652, then there wasn't complete consensus by the Sahaba on what that recension was. So, you know, Uthman, the third caliph, he came and he said, right, there's like a hadith, I assume you accept.
So if there is no consensus on something, the topic needs to be looked at and see which one is the correct, and that's it. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So even if there's no consensus,
if there is no consensus on something,
right,
then you look at what's the closest to the truth. Who's bringing the proof from the Quran, from the Sunnah, and you go by that. This is the methodology we follow.
Okay, so for example, there is a verse in the Quran that talks about when you make an oath, and the oath is broken, and what do you need to do if you break an oath? And basically, it talks about, I think, freeing a slave is one thing, and if you can't do that, then you're meant to feed so many people, and if you can't do that, you're meant to fast. And it says for fasting for 3 days. But that particular verse has a variant from Abdullah ibn Masud's codex, I think, and he read it differently. When he was reciting this in prayer, he would recite it that you were to fast 3 consecutive days.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How is this related to ijma now then? Sorry?
But my understanding is like, so you have the madhabs, right?
Yeah.
And they give legal rulings on understandings of the Quran, for example, or the Sharia. So there are differences in that, right? So the school I'm talking about, I think, is the Hanafi school. The Hanafi school, because they accept Abdullah ibn Masud's reciting of this verse, he recited it slightly differently. He added the word consecutively. So if you follow the Hanafi school, you are to fast for 3 consecutive days if you break an oath, and you can't free a slave, or you can't, what was the other one? You can't feed so many people. I guess from my perspective though, if people that are that close, I mean Abdullah ibn Masud was a major companion, if he himself had his own different codex with a different ruling, that seems to be problematic in terms of how you would follow that with certainty.
So when there is even a hadith that one seems to indicate something and the other seems to indicate the other thing,
Right.
the way we approach this is that we believe that this is like an acceptable difference of opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
But the moment we like other principles are brought to the table, then we reject that. But yeah, obviously, even we, if we only take a hadith, Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma, we will find there is disagreement. Yeah, we believe it's understandable to have disagreement on this.
Okay.
And it's not.
Well, you see, the reason I brought that particular issue up in terms of fiqh is because it reveals something quite theologically important. That Abdullah ibn Masud had a different codex from the Uthmanic codex.
Yeah, sorry, but are you interested in talking about Usul al-Fiqh, or are you interested in talking about the Quran and its preservation?
Well,
because
I guess
trying to lead things to a type of conversation that, as you can see, I'm here to talk about.
So you disagree with?
If you want to talk about Usul, I'm happy. But if not, I had the conversation too many times about.
Well, I think we
preserve or not and these things.
We might be agreeing in a sense, because I think one of the problems with the 4 madhabs is that at least one of the madhabs affirms a slightly different variant in a verse of the Quran than the other madhabs, because they follow a recitation from Abdullah ibn Masud. So that to me seems like an irreconcilable issue with the 4 madhabs, or at least the Hanafi and the others. Does that make sense?
Not quite, but I think okay.
Okay.
Okay, fair.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it's okay to have different variants in the Quran?
Well, I think it's. I don't understand how this is related to principles of fiqh. So.
Oh, because it directly impacts how you.
We have different recitations.
Yeah, and they're all valid. Is that your view?
Yeah.
Even if they change the ruling.
Well, what do you mean they change the ruling?
So Abdullah ibn Masud, he says you have to fast 3 consecutive days, and the other schools say no, you can fast one day and then.
Point me out what's the recitation?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it for you. Yeah, I think it's in Surah Al-Baqarah.
Because Ibn Masud narrates Hafs as well. Yeah, Hafs. That's the narrator.
Yeah, it's the main one that we use today. Hafs and Asim. Right, but hang on, I'm gonna have to try and Google this.
I have all day for Muhammad, don't worry.
Quran verse breaking. And what's interesting is the Tafsir Ibn Kathir actually mentions this, how the Hanafi school follow a different interpretation of the verse, because Abdullah ibn Masud,
there's plenty of hadith as well where people come with different understanding of it. Sometimes even the same hadith is understood in different ways, like the one about abandoning prayer. Some people reach a conclusion the person is a disbeliever. Some people say it's not.
I think I found it. I think it's Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah 89.
Which
Surah 5?
no, which reading?
Well, this is Hafs. But you can read Tafsir on that verse.
No, but which is the other reading? The one that you say is that it's problematic.
It's from my knowledge, I don't think it actually is a different qira'at. It's just a known way that Ibn Masud would say it. Maybe it is a different qira'at, but I'm not sure exactly which one it is.
Hey, is that yours?
Yeah.
What does it say? Tell me.
Yeah, I'd rather have the conversation.
No, just tell me.
I'll try and find this verse so you can speak to it for a sec.
One second. Really, I had the conversation too many times.
Okay.
On on preservation of Quran and these things, and I'm just not interested in having it.
So can I just show you this? Just really interesting. So this is Tafsir Ibn Kathir on Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah 89. But whoever cannot afford that, then he should fast for 3 days. Ubay ibn Ka'b and Abdullah ibn Masud and his students read this ayah as follows. Then he should fast 3 consecutive days. Even if this statement was not narrated to us as part of the Quran through a mutawatir narration, it should still be an explanation of the Quran by the companions that this ruling has been related from the Prophet. So actually, I don't think it is a qira'at. I don't think it is a reading. It's a known that Abdullah ibn Masud and Ubay ibn Ka'b said this.
Yeah,
You want to take a picture of this?
No. Even if the statement was not narrated to us as part of the Quran, okay, so this is not a reading on the Quran, yeah?
Okay,
This is what
but-
you're saying?
Right, Abdullah ibn Masud
You're
used to say it this way.
Wait.
Yeah.
You're saying that Abdullah ibn Masud
Yeah.
understood it this way.
Well, he would recite it this way.
It's saying it's not part of the Quran.
It's saying it's not mutawatir. So in other words, we can't affirm that this word was in it because as far as we're aware, it's only Ubay ibn Ka'b and Abdullah ibn Masud who are saying this word.
It would still be an explanation of the Quran by the companions.
Okay.
It has the ruling of being related from the Prophet. So what he's saying is this is the explanation of the Quran
I think-
by the companions. Yeah.
Well, I
And
think
they
he's...
say, wait. What
Okay.
he's saying is
Yeah.
this is proof. Okay, because there's ulama, they say that the saying of the companions on some topics must come from the Prophet because it's impossible they knew about this without coming from the Prophet.
Right, but that's problematic though because
I
it's a
reject
different
that.
ruling.
I reject that. This is the matter. I reject the opinion of a single Sahaba. I
Okay.
only take the consensus of them. So now you bring in the opinion of a single Sahaba. That's no proof of it.
Well, so it's 2, right? So Ubay ibn Ka'b and Abdullah ibn Masud. But
There
do,
can be 10. If it's not ijma, there's no
Oh.
proof for me.
but do you not accept the weight of those 2, given that Muhammad in Sahih Hadith says they are of the 4 best reciters of the Quran?
No problem with that.
Okay.
I don't accept the saying of any Sahaba that is by himself or that does not reach the level of ijma as proof. Yeah, they are not proof. They are fallible. They may make mistakes. There were munafiqun between the Sahaba. They may have taken from the munafiqun. I don't know. Even the mursal from Sahaba, that more like a lot of ulama take, I don't take the mursal from Sahaba because I cannot guarantee that this is connected to the Prophet.
You don't take... Say that again, sorry. You don't
The
take...
mursal, the hadith that's disconnected from the Sahaba,
Yeah.
I don't take it.
Like
Because
what
by
hadith?
definition- By definition, it's not authentic, so I don't take it.
Wait, which ones? Which hadith, sorry? Like which...
The ones that are not connected to the Prophet from the Sahaba, al-Mursal.
Right.
This is a category.
Are you talking about like hadith that doesn't have a complete chain, that doesn't go back?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Well, this is tafsir like from Ibn Kathir, so it was known among scholars that this
It
is the
doesn't
case.
matter. Ibn Abbas, Ibn Masud, whatever it is, if they tafsir, they bring something with proof, I take it. If not, I don't believe it's proof by itself. I respect
Okay.
them, I love them, but they themselves are not proof.
Okay, well, I think even scholars would accept that there were differences in these different codices.
Yeah, there were differences. But
Well, I mean, the issue with this particular difference is that it's a difference in Sharia, because it's either
yeah,
you...
like every other difference.
Right.
Like, this is the issue.
Well, you see, this
There's
isn't
people
like...
that say you have to pray witr because the Prophet
Right.
ﷺ,
Right, yeah,
they say
you-
you have to you pray witr and it's a command, and the command by
I
default is
understand.
obligation.
Right.
Then we bring the other hadith that says yeah,
Okay.
there's a difference.
Sure. In this instance, though, it's a difference in the Quran that is not a qira'at reading. So that's
Sultan
why...
was saying that.
Well, it says well, all the qira'at...
I think what that's saying is Ibn Masud
yeah.
is saying this,
And
and the
Ubay
saying of
ibn Ka'b.
Sahaba cannot come from nothing, so he took it from the Prophet. So this.
So it's
is the
valid
meaning.
for the Hanafi school.
So they believe this is valid.
Okay.
I don't believe this is a valid proof.
But it's he's saying it's not mutawatir. It's not every verse of the Quran mutawatir.
In the Bible, you see.
I thought every verse of the Quran was mutawatir. Is that correct?
I think you're not understanding what you're reading there, or
Okay.
you have some kind of disconnection here.
Okay, all right then, all right. So,
But I don't believe, I think what he's saying is the opinion of Sahaba and the Tafsir is proof. And I don't believe the opinion of Sahaba and Tafsir without a reason of revelation. Like sometimes they say, oh, the reason of revelation was this and that, then I believe this is proof. This Tafsir of Sahaba, I believe it's proof, because he's bringing a hadith to prove that the reason of
because it gives you
revelation
a reason for the
but
recitation.
If not, if he says that, oh, this means this and that, they
Right.
may be right, they may be mistaken.
Okay, so that's
I
real
think majority
context.
of time, like
Yeah.
as like Ibn Masud, Ibn Abbas, they are great Sahaba. Majority of time, they will be more correct than others. but that does not mean 100% of time. So I cannot take that as a proof. This is one of the difference we have with the other madahib, that we don't take this as proof.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's maybe this conversation happened with someone from any of the madahib, and you can argue on this because they will take that as proof, and then you can see where you go from there. But for me, I'm not the right guy because I reject this as a proof.
Sure.
And you're drinking like the
Okay.
scholars of that.
That's
So-
fine then. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
You alright?
Cool.
Cool.
Nice to talk to you.
Nice.
Take care.
My name's Chris, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
God with us. And that is what Jesus Christ. Almighty God. And his kingdom will be an everlasting. And you say, similar to Judaism, they always say that Islam is similar to
JC,
Judaism.
I'm done with the debate.
Dear
So you
friends,
can.
dear friends,
Oh,
now,
yeah.
what Islam has done, Hamas has done. Hamas,
What is that, man?
Hamas has raped, killed, beheaded Jewish people. Is that your religion same as
my son, it's gonna be too
No.
bright. I don't know.
Islam is
Should we go over there?
Hey. It's pointing this way.
Right. Just set that up so it's.
And Hamas, who are the Hamas? They
Yeah,
are
good for
following
you,
that
Iceman. So,
Indian
yeah,
Hamas.
what happened there, Iceman?
Very
Had an interesting talk with a guy who's Sunni Muslim, considers himself Orthodox Sunni Muslim, but he doesn't follow any of the four madhabs. What? Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. All right, there we go. Now I can see people. Oh, that's awesome. All right. So I had a really interesting chat with this Muslim guy who rejects the four madhabs. He has his own understanding of things. And I thought it was interesting because I brought up a particular verse, which is Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah 89, in which he talks about the ruling for what you are meant to do if you break an oath. And if you break an oath, you go through a certain set of things that you have to do, right? But the last thing you do is that you fast for 3 days. But the interesting thing is that the Tafsir Ibn Kathir explicitly mentions that actually Abdullah ibn Masud and Ubay ibn Ka'b had their own particular way of reciting that, which is different from the others. And it had an additional word, namely the word consecutive. So going by that, those two people, Ubay ibn Ka'b and Abdullah ibn Masud, who are giants in the field of Islam, explicitly said that they had a different understanding of the Quran than what is the Uthmanic Quran today. I think that's quite problematic for Muslims in general, particularly if they believe that the Quran is perfectly preserved, because it clearly shows that two of the biggest students of Muhammad, so to speak, had totally different understandings of the Quran, especially when it came to legal rulings. But it was a good conversation, and I very much appreciated it. So God bless you all. Come to our Lord Jesus Christ. I hope you have a great day. God bless.